10 kids who were raised by animals. Sometimes animals are not as untamed as we think they are. Sometimes animals hold more affection and are capable of providing more than we can imagine. Sometimes animals prove to be the better species. Sometimes animals are not as wild and dangerous as we expect them to be. Sometimes an animal is all we need. Here are 10 heart-wrenching stories of animals that helped vulnerable humans survive through the tough times. Before you watch the video, please subscribe and share this video as much as you can. Also, don't forget to hit the blue button to stay up to date with all our latest videos. Number 10. Maria Chapman. Kidnapped at the age of 4, Maria was abducted by a group of people who left her in the Colombian jungle, where she survived by adapting to the lifestyle of some monkeys. After her kidnappers left her all alone in the jungle, Maria started living with a group of capuchin monkeys. She would eat the food they dropped from the trees, sleep in the holes within the trees, and lived like those monkeys for the next 5 years in that jungle. She was later rescued by some hunters who sold her off to a brothel in Calcutta. After escaping from the brothel, she lived on the streets and later became a slave to a mafia family. Soon she was rescued by a neighbor and moved to Bradford, Yorkshire, where she currently resides with her family. Maria wrote a book named The Girl with No Name, where she described how she survived in the jungle and was raised by the monkeys. However, her memory and authenticity was critically questioned by the public, as very few people believe her story. Number 9. Daniel, the Goat Boy. Rescued after spending 8 wild years in an undomesticated environment, Daniel was said to be raised by the goats in Andes, Peru. He survived solely on goat milk, roots, and berries. Living with the wild animals for almost 8 years, he developed characteristics similar to that of the animals he had been in care of. He walked on 4 limbs. He had no problem in communicating with the goats, but lost track of communicating with humans, as he was just 4 when he lost connection with humans. His hands and feet became stiff due to constant use as hooves that he used to walk around with. He was named Daniel after he was rescued and studied by a team from Kansas University. Number 8. Bello, the Chimpanzee Boy. Estimated to be lost in the wild at the age of merely 6 months, Bello was rescued from the Falgore Forest in 1996 at the age of 2. Bello, as he was named by the nursing staff of the Tundamaliki Tori home in Kano, was said to be a part of some nomadic Fulani family who might have abandoned him as a disabled child, something that is very common among such ethnic families. His physical appearances suggested the fact that he was disabled: sloping right shoulder, crooked forehead, and a projecting chest. His feral characteristics include walking on hind legs and dragging his arms while touching the ground, scraping and clapping like chimpanzees, and when he was rescued, he weighed as much as a 4-year-old, which clearly suggests that his intake while living with the chimpanzees was just like their regular diet. Number 7. Ramu the Wolf Boy. This Indian boy, Ramu, was rescued from Uttar Pradesh from a pack of wolves at the age of 5. This young boy adopted all the wild characteristics from the wolves, like sharp claw-like nails, sharpened teeth, drank water like dogs, preferred raw meat to cooked meat, ate dirt, and had the urge to drink blood. After getting some proper and decent amount of care, he learned to wear clothes and bathe himself, but failed to learn how to speak. It is easy to adapt to new things, but forgetting the old ones is a difficult task. Number 6. John Sabunya. Sometimes family tragedies force humans to prefer animals over their own species, and so is the case of John Sabunya, a 3-year-old who witnessed the murder of his mother at the hands of his very own father. John decided to run away into the wild, where he lived under the care of some monkeys for 3 years until he was rescued by a tribal girl. He had scars and injuries on his knees from excessive crawling, hair all around his body from a condition called hypertrichosis, and worms up to half a meter long were found from his stools. He resisted the capture and his adoptive family by usually throwing sticks at them in order to run away. However, after getting the proper attention, he not only learned how to speak, but started singing in a choir too. Number 5. The Bird Boy. The case of a Russian boy emerged in 2008 where the 7-year-old could communicate with the birds by chirping. His mother kept him with other caged birds in an apartment that consisted of 2 rooms only, and he spent 7 years just like that. The mother never really spoke to the child, as he would just chirp whenever she said anything, and he would flap his arms just like a bird. The 7-year-old spent 7 years with those birds, therefore, he was practically raised by the birds rather than his own mother. It is said that his own mother treated him like a pet, and thus his odd behavior can be justified. According to the Russian authorities that were responsible for his care, he was suffering from the Mowgli syndrome, a syndrome that got his name from the character of the Jungle Book. Thus, he couldn't engage in normal human activity like communication. Number 4. Dina Senachar. This Indian man was found sleeping in a cave that he shared with a pack of wolves. Dina was found in the Bulandeshar forest in India in 1876 by a group of hunters when he was just 6 years old. Staying in the company of such wild animals, Dina exhibited a lot of animalistic traits such as walking on all 4 limbs, eating food directly from his mouth rather than using his hands, preferred eating raw meat over cooked one, chewing bones to sharpen his own teeth, and he would not wear clothes as he was not used to wearing them. Thus, he'd tear them off every time the nurses would try to put some clothes on him. He survived in human company for just another 20 years before he died in 1895. During that time, he learned how to wear clothes, stand straight, and look after his cup and plate, but never managed to learn how to speak. Number 3. The Chile Dogman. Adopted by an unusual family at the age of approximately 10 or 11, this young boy became part of a family of dogs. Living in a cave near the Chilean port, this young boy drank milk from the mother, searched for food together with the other dogs, and they slept together like a family. He was found to be very aggressive and suffering from depression due to the harsh conditions he had been surviving in. Upon being rescued, he tried his best to escape the new environment by either jumping into the water or barking at the caretakers, as he lost track of all kinds of human communication skills. He tried his best to get back to his feral family numerous times, but failed to do so. Number 2. Andrei Tolstok. Andrei spent the first 7 years of his life with just a family dog after his parents abandoned him in a remote area of Siberia near a lake called Lake Baikal. At an age as little as just 3 months, the dog took care of the infant throughout, providing shelter, finding food for him, keeping him warm in the cold weather, and making sure that he survived through tough times. The social workers found him in a house at a very distant location, which justifies the unnoticed absence of parents for 7 years. Since Andrei had no contact with the humans for 7 years, he did not know how to communicate with humans. He sniffed his food before eating it, got scared of people in the orphanage he was staying in, walked on all 4 limbs like a dog, and had an aggressive behavior towards everyone. However, after getting proper attention and medical care for 2 weeks, Andrei was finally able to walk on both of his feet and later learned to communicate through sign language. Number 1. Toddler kept alive by cats. Back in 2008, the Argentinian police found a 1-year-old boy surrounded by 8 cats that were apparently protecting him. The cats would get very overprotective and try to defend the child as soon as anyone would come near him. They found out that the cats had been keeping the child alive through tough winters by licking him and covering him as a blanket. They would find food for him from the dumpster and help him survive through the tough times. The authorities discovered that the child had been separated from his father while he was picking cardboard to sell. Humans have clearly exploited the idea of wild animals, but one cannot simply ignore these and numerous other incidences where these wild animals saved our lives. These stories make us question if feral animals are actually worth killing. Are they as dangerous as we have portrayed them to be? Are we treating them the way they should be treated? These were 10 times animals helped raise a human and survive through tough times. And if you enjoyed the video, then don't forget to hit the like button, give it a thumbs up, and subscribe to our channel. Make sure you hit the blue icon to stay up to date with our latest videos.